As we cover back to school across the country, let's focus on the Ontario situation for a moment here. The increase in numbers in Ontario renewing concern as more and more students go back to school this week. And one place where the rate of new infections is particularly high is the Peel region west of Toronto. It's driven a sudden surge in demand for online learning, as Farah Morali reports.
Okay, and you want to make sure it's covering your nose.
Jill Promoli has watched nervously as COVID-19 cases have rapidly increased in Peel region. She made the difficult decision to send her kids back to the classroom.
I've heard a lot of stories from friends where their class numbers started one way last week and have gone up just in recent days as things have changed and shuffled. Oh, you popped it off.
Promoli knows more than most that school safety is a matter of life and death. 4 years ago, her son Jude died after being infected with the flu. He caught it from his sister, who got it from a classmate.
For us, we've been sort of going through everything now with COVID-19, remembering that it's not just what happens in the classroom, it's what comes home again.
In just a week, 10,000 students in the Peel District School Board have moved from in-class to online learning, delaying the start of online classes.
That workplace outbreak.
The region's medical officer of health says most of the new cases are isolated to workplaces and social gatherings,
As opposed to really widespread propagated community transmission, which is more what we were seeing in March and April. So that tends to bring the risk down a bit more in returning children to in-person learning.
Peel isn't the only Ontario school board where parents have recently decided to shift their kids to online learning. The Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board saw an increase of 3,500 students since late August, and in Hamilton Wentworth, the numbers jumped by 2,000 students. This infectious disease specialist believes the risk of in-class learning is manageable.
All the countries that have really good data on school return, schools are not the drivers of community transmission. It's the community that's the issue.
Because she's a caterpillar, right?
Promoli's kids start their first full day in class this week, and watching the numbers isn't making that decision any easier. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
So let us introduce you to another family that changed plans and moved from in-class learning to online study. With me this morning, Sierra Aquino, who has 3 children in elementary school, and there is her eldest son, Bryston. He's 11 and in grade 6. Sierra and Bryston, welcome to our program.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to see you. I would say at home, but I guess home is also school now. So I'm greeting you right in the center of this story. Sierra, let me begin with you, if you would. You had all 3 of your children. So you have Bryston, you have another son going into grade 3 and a daughter going into JK. All of them were enrolled in in-person class. And how were they feeling about the chance to get back to school?
Oh my goodness, it has been such a roller coaster since March, really. We've kept them home with a really tight bubble, I'd say, since March with socialization and seeing their friends. So they were very excited about the thought of going back to school, seeing their teachers, seeing the principal and their friends and that aspect of it, the community aspect of our school.
What were you maybe I should ask Bryston, what were you most looking forward to when you were supposed to be going back to school, Bryston?
I was most looking forward to seeing most of my friends that I haven't seen.
For a long, long time, I bet. So, and I'm sure your other son and daughter were the same, Sierra. And then what happened? So why did you make the decision to change?
It's been a very tough decision. My husband and I have been going back and forth for months, like I said, really since March, because we've been trying to get ahead of this. But it was a very tough decision. And ideally, we would have loved to send them back to school. That was always our goal. November, maybe we'll reevaluate and see if that's an option. But the case is going up. We have family members who are elderly or grandparents. We want to make sure that they're taken care of as well. And so we have an opportunity where we're both working from home. Logistically, we can figure it out as we go a little bit. And so we tried to just take advantage of the situation where we've all been together on top of each other in our house for so many months now that we've gotten used to it a little bit. But absolutely, the number of cases in Peel, the unknown of what the next 2 months are going to look like, knowing that we do have an opportunity in November to reevaluate and potentially put them back in school. I think that's definitely the number one goal.
What you would like. Bryston, I understand it was you who made the ultimate decision that you were going to stay home, you and your brother and sister. What were your concerns, and then why did you think that maybe you should stay home for a little longer?
I thought that I should stay home because if I was wearing a mask all day, my glasses will fog up a lot, and if my glasses got dirty, I couldn't clean them.
And that would have been a big thing. How do you handle that at school? So when you decided, and then your mom and dad agreed, how do you feel about keeping going to school and doing your learning in your classes at home now?
I'm getting to feel comfortable being at home doing schoolwork.
You are.
It's kind of fun, actually. It's been last week we did a little test school, and it's been a very interesting process to really be involved in their curriculum and in their content of what they're learning, and then bring that into the house. Last week we decided to pick a different country around the world each day of the week, and then cook that food for dinner. Our arts and crafts revolved around it. So really just trying to
Jeepers, the learning extends into all aspects of family life now. But I mean, I think you made a really important point, Sierra, earlier, and that is that you and your husband are able to do this. For so many families, this is not an option. You have the space, and you have the resources, and you have your time, and your work situation is enabling you to do this with your 3 children. It must be so difficult for families that can't.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where I think it's so important for parents to really offer compassion to each other. We're all making the best decision that we can, and there's no right, there's no wrong. Every family's doing what they can for their kids with what they have available. And
have you experienced some of that judgment of what's right and what's wrong? Have you been on the receiving end of any kind of? Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Oh my goodness, we definitely have, especially with the numbers going up. So even within the past week, because there's been more children moving to the online. The schools are rejigging the numbers and the classes and whatnot. So on average, the class sizes are going up from my experience and within our school community. And so there's judgment back to the parents who are choosing online because it's our fault, quote unquote, that their class sizes are now going up. So the in-class students, parents are kind of upset with us, and it's turning into a little bit of a very unnecessary scrutiny, debate, conversation that really we're all just trying to make the best decision for our kids. So.
But you're comfortable with your decision for your 3 children, are you?
Absolutely. We don't have a lot of information yet as to what this week's going to look like, but our mentality and our energy, we're feeling very positive. We're excited. We're ready to take on this new adventure of online learning and having teachers via computer interfacing, headphones, the rest of it. It'll be interesting. It'll be the next 2 months will be definitely learning.
It certainly will be different. So Bryson, tell me, because so you would have had a similar situation at the end of last year, right? You would have been in this online learning situation. What do you think about it? Whether it's easier or harder than learning in the classroom, and what do you like about it, and what don't you like? Tell me all about this.
I don't really know.
No? Is it hard to compare?
Yeah.
What do you think? Can I answer that question?
Yeah, sure. Jump in, Mom, for sure.
Back in March, just from the parent experience, it was very difficult. I think we were both feeling a little bit of frustration at certain points. Technically speaking, going from in-class to then Google Classroom, having to print our assignments, scan them, send them back. It was definitely, we did a crash course in Computer 101 over here, trying to figure out how to use a computer in a certain way, and the scanner and printer. Just, the logistical aspects of it was definitely difficult. And going through that experience, we've kept that in mind now, preparing ourselves for the online.
Yes.
Where, we're trying to get ahead of that.
So, okay, then let me word my question in a different way. What are you going to miss, do you think, Bryson, by staying at home at school?
I'm going to miss seeing most of my friends that are going to school.
And is there anything in particular that you're happy about, staying at home doing your schoolwork?
there's not going to be as many distractions as being at school.
That's good. Just you and your brother and sister and mom, who's keeping obviously a very close watch on things. Listen, it's so nice to meet you. There are thousands of other families making the very decision that yours has, and you've helped us understand why that is. You mentioned November, Sierra, so why don't we keep in touch and we'll see whether you carry on with this at-home learning or maybe you're ready to send the kids back to class. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you so much.
Sierra, nice to meet you. Bryston, all the best in your new school year in grade 6. That's a big year. Thanks for being on our show.
Thanks so much.
Bye.